Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
LD Lewis is not only the awesome publisher of FIYAH magazine, or founder, let's say. You have handed on some of those things for sure. She's also the director of FIYAHCON, an awesome online science fiction conference, winner of a Hugo, I do believe, as well as director of programs and operations for the Lambda Literary Foundation. Oh, that's just right there. That is.
It is. I always keep it for us about things, like in case I have to trot it out like N.K. Jemisin.
I thought you had two. I thought you had two Hugos.
I have one. We were nominated for two in the year I won this, and the second one was for FIYAHCON, but we've been up for 5 Hugos and only one so far.
Okay. Apologies. I'm giving you awards and I'm not allowed to.
I will take them. That's fine.
I'll have to pretend this is a Hugo. I'm gonna send this camera.
Is it like 60 pounds? Because this one is massive.
Oh, I did not know that.
It's so heavy. It's so heavy. And I was in a bad mood, like having to carry it around afterwards. Like it was hot. You're in a mask. People keep wanting to talk to you. And you have you've got your wallet, and then there's a ball gown, and then there's this 15-pound, the base is marble from the Washington Monument. So you're carrying this around.
That seems not to judge the people who make the Hugos, but they've given you 2 types of weapon in one. I mean, it's got a really pointy top, and then it's a blunt object at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I drove that year, so I didn't have to deal with, TSA asking questions and luggage. But I imagine that's horrendous.
Like checking a bag or something. I'm sorry, what do you have in here? Absolutely.
This looks like a missile. This is not, you can't have this.
Let me also throw this out as well. Feel free to check out LD Lewis at your local library or nearby bookstore with A Ruin of Shadows, which is an awesome book that in another podcast I heard still getting royalties on, which is it is still selling.
It came out in 2018. It's my only longer than short form anything that's out there, and I'm still collecting royalties on it, which is very cute. It's very endearing, and I should probably write more, but I'm busy.
Well, let's absolutely start there with the idea that LD, I'd really love to talk to you and see about all the different ways that being a writer can basically keep you busy. Because in addition to writing A Ruin of Shadows, having that out there, going through the entire querying process and publishing process and all that, writing short fiction and having it published in a lot of sci-fi stuff, you've also gone on to do your own publishing of other people in short form, to do audio things, to collaborate with the likes of Diana Pha, who we were happy to have on the show a few months ago, and LeVar Burton as well with the audio thing. How do you feel about where you're putting your energy? Is it in the right place? Would you rather you wrote more?
This is a therapy session, apparently.
Is it in the right place? Okay, so the correct answer is yes, obviously. I am overjoyed to be in positions where I'm able to, help other people along in their careers and kind of open up these doors and enact these kind of reformative things that a lot of legacy organizations or people who've been in the field a lot longer than I have aren't able to conceive of, with a virtual convention, stuff like that. So yeah, obviously thrilled, whatever. But also I just knew I would have sold a couple of novels by now. I didn't get actively into SFF. I came in as a writer, and specifically long form. I had no experience with short fiction. I had never listened to a podcast before. I'm not really a con person. I would go to PlayStation Experience when they used to host it in California. That was my whole thing. I would, because there's things to do. I'm not really a panel person. I need activities. Everything I got into since then was based on identifying a need that existed somewhere in the community. So some segment of somebody was being failed, and there were a lot of excuses kind of being bandied about in terms of, why these things were happening and why it was so impossible, to fix things. And I'm actually, no. And so that's where all of my additional projects kind of came from.
I hate to use this word, but you're a disruptor.
Yeah.
Well, and this goes to FIYAH magazine, and we'll toss it down in the chat, the link to it and all, which is really a great bit of science fiction, and also came out of left field versus the ones that have been around for 20 years, have been around for 60 or 80 years, and kind of this old guard. But we've, spoken a little bit about winning a Hugo, and that was with FIYAH, as well as finding a place, for authors who aren't getting out there and helping push other people's careers. Right. How do you feel about your community, both in Atlanta and online?
My time in Atlanta has been mostly plague-based. I have not gotten out and interacted with people in too much of like an in-person capacity. Mark Oshura lives down here. We've hung out. There's a couple of people, me and Sai, who is we're doing an event at Karis Books in Decatur in March, I want to say. Something like that, to promote her book, Bitter Medicine. So I've connected with a few people in person, but for the most part, it's just like, don't come to my house and I won't come to yours. And we don't have to kill each other. So not a whole lot in person. Virtual community, obviously much more expansive. I'm a bit of a busybody. And I have the best hot takes. They're super like neutral takes, like they're milquetoast takes and should not be taken as incendiary, but apparently that's the case.
These takes are 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
They are a nice, just kind of chill, and like depending on where you are on either side of that chillness, they may seem like a bit extra, but they're not. Basic things like you should publish Black people. Oh my God. Pitchforks. It's been a lot more engaging. I'm glad that I came in and did more on the short fiction side of it. Short fiction's a lot more accessible. And the community is too. There are a lot fewer, I don't know. There are fewer barriers to entry, fewer kind of mysteries surrounding how it's supposed to work. And I guess because of like the advent of the internet, it's easier for markets to, kind of get up and running. Whether or not they last a year is another thing entirely, but you can start a magazine, for the price of a domain name. And so there's, it's a very fluid kind of field, but it offers a lot of opportunities for kind of cross-pollination. We'll share slush readers of different magazines, or we'll promote each other's submission calls, and things like the Black Spec report will go out, and because we are a trusted source for that type of information, people will take it seriously, stuff like that. So that's been nice and fine, I guess. Once you get off Twitter, things get a little bit more hostile, but for the most part, I don't know. It's been fine.
So you totally take this in the direction of Twitter, but I'm going to save that and the vitriol for a little bit later. Absolutely respect what you have put together with the reports that you have put out. In addition, there was the Publishers Weekly one that just came out, if I can talk about one that wasn't on there, and that was just about publishing professionals, looking at industry salary survey, which they do not get paid enough to live in New York City.
That was
as well as the racial makeup of the people who are working in publishing. Like, if you don't have people on the other side, on that editorial side, how can you expect anybody else to be, pushed other than tokenization? So, from the internal, from the external, you have been a part of what is the nascent change, like it's changing a little bit, but it isn't changing a lot. It's still underrepresented in so many different ways. Have you gotten any feedback from professionals, from let's say writers, about the stuff that you have published that is really just data analysis?
Mostly in years past. So originally, Fireside Fiction published the first 3 studies, so the 2015 through 2017 studies, and then I took over as publisher last year, and then we shuttered it this year. And so FIYAH seemed like the natural inheritor of the study, which is why I just did it myself. Those first few surveys, when Fireside did them, they commissioned a lot of extra essays and kind of supplementary content to kind of contextualize what the numbers meant. And I steered away from doing that this time because there's only so much you can say about, a 3% change. The numbers are rising incrementally. We can't compare, we can't put anything on any type of trajectory because numbers are going to be fluid every year. We like to see people trend upward, but anything can happen. It could be, fewer Black authors submitting in a certain year. Things going on behind the scenes with the magazine that's not allowing them to, carry out a full publication schedule, stuff like that. And then also, because it was a Black person authoring the study this time, there's a lot of energy that goes into the tone of the delivery of the study. And so doing too much aggressive essaying about it invites a lot more vitriol, which I'm not prepared to deal with, and I don't have the patience for it. You have to make sure that you're coming off even-handed and not accusatory in any way, because as in years past, publishers get very grumpy about that, and there are still some places that I don't submit to this day because of their reception, because of how they received the initial studies and their responses to that. So it's important to follow the numbers and follow the studies. If you decide that you care about, something, you need to care about and be able to remark on the progress and not just rely on it as a topic of, this is why I'm not able to, it's racism. This is why I can't progress or whatever. Like, are you following the improvements that are being made? Do you have an interest in that, or are you interested in being angry? And so it's important to kind of keep, the foundation's delayed. It's important to kind of keep following and just kind of report clearly in a way that's not going to get you harassed a whole lot. And so I've had a couple of super spicy emails, but not from anybody who actually works in the industry, so I don't give a shit. Can I cuss here?
Putting it out there, I just would have hoped that answer would have been more positive about like, okay, I respect what you're saying, and we will try to do better in the future or whatever. We're starting this. It's very insular. And really, this is the end of 2020. We're talking about things where we're just doing a little Festivus. The poll is in the room. We're complaining about everything that we've had a problem with throughout the whole last year.
Well, I think what you just said, sort of makes sense to your, I show up in places where people are not getting what they need because the establishment isn't listening.
And so somebody has to do the thing, and then I end up doing the thing because I'm good at puzzles, and I'm good at like logistics. And I think a lot of people are better at like kind of like pie in the sky, like dreaming of things, but like not so much how to get there. I'm good with the how to get there stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I hope it does something beyond, like, I know FIYAHCON's been on hiatus for the last year, and that was mostly because of, our entire staff was writers, and everybody had taken time out of their personal lives and their own projects to put into this. And then going back to that community question, the community was not always super into what we were doing and was not afraid to let us know. And so dealing with that type of harassment, it just kind of killed it for us. Like we kind of did what we came to do. It was experimental. We wanted to show people how, if accessibility and inclusion or whatever are essential and at the forefront of your programming, it's not hard to, fix these issues that keep recurring, especially in in-person conventions. So we did all that. We were a model of whatever we were a model of.
Yes.
We were Hugo nominated, I think like the first ever convention to be nominated for a Hugo Award. So we fucking killed it. And I mean, now it is what it is. Hopefully some organizations learned from it, but if they didn't, I have a consulting thing.
Let me throw this out there. As an attendee for both years, it was great. And it was topics that didn't normally come up. It was panelists that I had not heard from before. And it was a space where I was an observer. There are a lot of times when I was going to a certain panel and I was like, I might have a question and I am not going to ask it because I am here and I'm going to be polite about knowing that I don't know anything, which was terribly interesting for me and just kind of broadening the horizons. It's very interesting to think about both, the publishing and who is getting published based on, demographics, as well as the characters.
Right.
Now, I know that you are a big fandom people, and you can speak to, I love all sorts of different fandoms, but like that has changed, and maybe not in the best way. In terms of inclusion and stuff like that, people are starting to write more diverse stories out there. Is there anything, I short of, no, I'm phrasing this very poorly. Do you see any good things about how media is changing in the past few years in terms of bringing more voices to the table?
Yeah, for people who, I am not one of those people who needs a whole lot of like specifically queer Black women representation kind of in anything. I grew up with way too much self-esteem, and so can put myself in any universe anywhere, and be perfectly fine without like seeing it presented on screen. And so I'm happy that, you know, the people who want and who crave that kind of representation are getting it now. I hope to see more of it organically and less kind of like shoehorned in there so that, you know, the box gets checked off. There are a lot of kind of characters who are inserted into things and they're skin tone wise or nationality or ethnicity wise that's visible on screen, but there's nothing about that character's lived experience or their form of expression or anything that's carried into that. So I'd like to see a deeper level of inclusion where that stuff's concerned. But I mean, I guess it's going in a great direction. I would like to see more new properties, more interesting, more dynamic IP stuff that's actually authored by Black, Indigenous, and people of color, instead of, you know, people kind of being shoehorned into, you know, the same white invented universes. That would be nice. I would love an entire channel, like, I don't know, I'm gonna find some way to do this, but like get a channel on Pluto TV or something, and you just like partner with a bunch of animators who are now being devalued because we live in, you know, hell, and just have them do adaptations of short fiction, like a Love, Death, and Robots, but like for stories that I
love. Give me more.
You just animated shorts for everybody who's ever dreamed of having an animated short of their thing, which is all of us. Just like more exposure for, you know, not the same 10 people. But
and short fiction is absolutely, you know, where a lot of that stuff,
it's rife with it. Like there are so many stories get put out. Like I think just the Black Spec report, we looked at 65 markets put out something like 2,600 stories in a year. Like we are spoiled for options, and you know it's the same 5 or 6 people, you know, who get their works adapted, and that's ridiculous. So yeah, I'd like to see. Let's switch that up. As soon as I learn anything about broadcasting, it's on. I don't know.
Well, Diana Fa, and working with them out in California, that was very interesting to see kind of the pivot of her company and trying to do audio and get a lot more science fiction shorts out there. So it's possible, but it's a new media world. You know, we're bouncing off of new things and figuring out, let's get past films. TV is completely changing, and see what the new thing becomes. Let me ask this, which is having written a book, put it out there, and then gone on to do short fiction and reading all sorts of stuff, in reading piles and piles of things, doing the slush pile, doing the LeVar Burton Reads thing. Has that changed how you write? Has that been what are some pointers from that? Or general things that new writers can learn?
It is a fraught process. It was easier to go from long form to short form than it is to go the other way. Because after so long in short form, you're like, oh, well, I can actually tell this 100,000 word story in 5,000. So what do I need all those extra words for? So trying to pivot back to that to give my agent something to actually sell, because I handle all of my own short fiction. That's been a challenge. Also in writing, prior to my involvement like heavily in short fiction, I did not read a lot of speculative fiction. It's mostly been nonfiction works. I watch a lot of nature documentaries. All of that stuff kind of informs a lot of my world building. And so not reading speculative, it keeps me from feeling like, okay, is this idea I have original to me, or am I accidentally stealing it?
Oh yeah.
It you worry a bit more after reading so much that what you've done is now derivative. and that you don't have as original a take on it as you thought you did. And so you lose that kind of excitement. And you're kind of like, okay, well, so let me pivot, this stage of the story to something especially bizarre just to make sure I'm not, copying off this other thing. So that's been hard, but I'm also like an overthinker. So, other people may not have that issue. But I will obsess over it, and it will paralyze my writing for like months on end. So that's been a thing that I've been dealing with probably over the last year. Like when we decided FIYAHCON was going to take a hiatus, I was like, yeah, I can get back to writing. And I have most of some stuff done. A lot of it is
most of some. I'm sorry, I like that phrasing. I have most of some stuff.
Most of some stuff done. Usually I'll keep 2 projects ongoing so that if I burn out or I get writer's block on one, I can pivot to the other one. Until that flame is reignited, that kind of thing. But lately it's been a lot of short stories, and so I'm also dealing with a faltering faith in traditional publishing.
On. Sorry,
yes.
Stop the recording.
No, I don't even have to.
I'm sorry. I'm a huge fan of indie publishing. And so you're probably going to be preaching to the choir on this.
So this year, when I started my agent, it was 2017, and it was the first book I'd ever queried. So like, I know a lot of people have to, write 5 or 6 to probably land an agent. I got it on the first try, but it was like 149 rejections.
Yeah. Not exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. First book, a whole lot of rejections, which is fine. I was like, law of averages, just send it to everybody. Somebody will buy it. And so entering into a space where you have representation and you have to write not only for yourself, but for marketability, whatever that looks like at any given time, and write to the taste of editors, people you've never met before, and apart from how much they're willing to pay you, could probably care less what they think about anything.
And from the information you put out, demographically, you're so different than you that they may not understand your references at all.
Right. So that puts a lot of pressure on revisions. And as a control freak, which is fine, it's just me. I was like, okay, no, this is me being humble and accepting that I need to change things and adapt and whatever. I'm going to be super excited about revisions. I'm never super excited about revisions because I'm like, I gave you the thing that I want to publish and you're telling me I have to make it a different thing. And I don't like that. But when you're trying to play the traditional publishing game, there are certain things, certain concessions that you're expected to make. Fine. I was cool with making them because I had certain understandings of what traditional publishing was going to be able to do for me in terms of reach, in terms of how much I'd be paid, in terms of like the enthusiastic marketing dollars that they put behind me, increased opportunities to have my work optioned and get that animated series that I wanted, all of that stuff.
Get that one season on Netflix before they cancel it, even if it's the wonderful.
I'd be fine with the one. Just give me the one. I'd be fine with it.
I'm sorry, I just finished watching Half Bad, and I'm derailing this, I apologize. I loved it. I made my baby watch it, and then they canceled it. It was so good, even though it was it's made for teenagers, whatever. It was so enjoyable. And even the musical score was delicious. And they're like, no, we don't care. But continue your story, I apologize.
You're fine. Give me a water break. And so what we've learned this year from just observations of what's going on in the traditional publishing world between the hemorrhaging of editorial staff, many of whom were just recently brought in due to newfangled diversity initiatives, but who were not empowered to actually...
Last one in, first one out. Oh.
Yep, that kind of thing. So we had that going on. The Penguin Random House Simon Schuster merger. The live tweeting that came out of those reports, I
thought I was going to have a heart attack.
I'm going to post a link to it right at this moment. I'm reminding myself.
Work done that entire week. I'm just staring at Twitter, just shrieking at every tweet. But the disdain that the C-suite executives for these places have for the people who actually make books happen, gaslighting agents and editors about, oh no, we never broke down, we never made it a policy to break down advances into 4 or 5 payments. Okay, and the advances are all $5,000, and you're paying them out across 3-4 years. Sure, it's the work of authors and the work of people who work in traditional publishing. The HarperCollins strike, which is still ongoing because they can't get a $5,000 raise in order to live in New York.
Month long.
It's been a month.
Right. Yeah.
It's been a month. And so like the big five, they hate their staff and they hate the people who write the books that pay them to work in publishing. And then they'll do things like give out 7-figure deals to fascists. So I just and can't scrounge up enough money for their mid-list who they're not promoting, and who CEOs are being quoted as saying that marketing and promotion has nothing to do with sales numbers, which is
bonkers. At least you hope it's bonkers. You hope they're not just throwing money into the trash.
That's apparently what they're doing. The judge actually held up a P&L at some point in the trial and was like, so this is all just made up. And whoever was on the stand was like, yeah, you can just do that? You can just say that in court. Sure, fine. And so all of these events around the structure of traditional publishing, how traditional publishing actually feels about the work that they're putting out, canceling physical arts, not standing behind authors in the face of all the book bans. The publishers have been silent largely on all of it. It's been, kind of grassroots efforts, mostly localized, that, take up protests, stuff like that. You haven't heard anything directly from the big five on any of it. So acknowledging that that's where I was trying to go when I got into the industry, when I wanted to sell a novel, was specifically to go big five because the money is there, right? The promotion is there, the effort is there. Apparently it's not. And so while I'm trying to finish up the next thing, I'm hoping that my agent will sell. I think it becomes a question of how one defines success. Is it getting the 6 to 7 figure deal? Is it getting that movie, or is it just getting something out there that people are able to read? And so that's where I am as a storyteller. I would rather prioritize that, and if more money or more opportunities or whatever come from that, then that's fine. But I don't feel like I am not as beholden to the traditional publishing formula as I am to just being able to tell the story I wanted to tell and not have to deal with revising in order to meet market conditions, which are fluctuating and nobody actually knows what they are, according to what was said in a court of law.
Legally binding now.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Everything is random. Nothing happens for any reason. So that's where I am kind of with it. Like I would rather work with small presses or indie presses or even self-publish. I'm just kind of to the point where, I have a dream for how I want this book to look when I come out. And now I've got this raise that I just got. And so I don't have any kids. Let's put all the money into the book, baby. So I'm more open to being to taking on more of my book publishing.
The more I read like the tweets and everything that came out from that lawsuit or from the discovery, excuse me, it seemed like sort of the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, where they realized that you could be replaced so easily, and they were willing to like work you until you died when you were 22, and then replace you with your younger siblings and work them until they died when they're 22. That's what it really seemed like. They know that that's the machinery that they've created, and that's working for them. It doesn't matter if it works for anybody that's underneath them, but that's what you are. You're a factory worker. You are the hand that pulls the cog, and if that hand gets ripped off, well,
there's always somebody who's dreamed of working in publishing.
Somebody always wants to pull that lever, and they will do it for less.
And so until that resource runs out, I mean, then we've got AI who will just write books for everybody, and it's fine. That's another thing. Oh God, then Tor with the AI covers. Like you can't even.
And for a very high profile one.
I so sorry. Like I'm holding this in for next week because we're just.
It's been a bad time. Bad time in publishing.
So in that respect, for sure. There's the big five publishers. There's the small presses. There is the self-publishing, and then I put at the bottom there, right there with it, what Shea Serrano does, which is just have, an internet following and give PDFs, like sell just a straight PDF. And, it seems like there's no good options. Like as a creative, you're doing this, it is a hobby. Great. It's like building trains in the basement. And at the same time, all these aspirations that are attached to it and promises, let's say, but I love the idea of this being a collaborative space.
Right.
We are all trying to go and publish a book for sure, but it feels like more and more these days that is one piece. And you got to draw your money from 5 different places, you know. When you're putting together a magazine, if you're potentially, you know, editing somebody else's work, if you are able to work for an organization that is tangential to it as well, you're putting yourself in a creative space and hopefully not burning yourself out. But that might be the only way to make this a living, you know?
Yeah.
Totally diagonally. Let me ask you about your work with Lambda Literary.
Yeah, I am the new director of programs and operations, I think is my title. It won't all fit on a business card, so I gotta work that out.
They won't just call you boss bitch?
I'm like deputy boss bitch. We have Samia Bashir is the executive director, came in September, and so I just got this promotion like a couple of months ago. It was more or less to like just kind of keep doing the stuff that I was already doing.
Which adjustment for inflation.
Yeah, I have this thing where I kind of come into spaces and like, okay, well that's not my job, but it could be done better, so let me just. So I did that a bunch of times and I got promoted, so it's fine. But yeah, so we have a bunch of pretty much everything over there is programs based. So I was formerly the awards manager, so I ran the Lammy Awards, and then we have our Writers in Schools program, which puts LGBTQ writers into classrooms, mostly virtually now, based out of New York City, but I believe we'll be expanding into other cities. Monica Carter has run that for like ages, and so we'll be expanding into other cities soonish. I don't know if I was allowed to tell you that, but there you go.
If not, just let us know and we'll cut it.
It's fine. Like I haven't declared a city, so nobody can be too disappointed.
Y'all should do like the Google thing where you make them like, you know, what's the word? Like make them romance you. So to put their fiber out, like,
yeah, like
come to us, y'all.
Pitch us. It's like the Olympics. Like tell us where to go, and then
and give us tax breaks, yeah.
And then the Emerging Writers Retreat, which runs in July or August. It runs sometime over the summer, and so I believe applications are currently open for that. By the time this airs, they will not be though. So sorry about that. But yeah, pretty much those things. There were some additional ones in the past that we may be able to bring back, depending on funding. It is a nonprofit, so we'll see. But yeah, I do. It's an LGBTQ literary nonprofit. A lot of author development, lots of promotion. Oh, the reviews, the last one. We do reviews of LGBTQ books as well. And so that's fun. It creates exposure for more of the authors. The awards do the same thing. That ceremony will be in June sometime. Think it's going to be in person, but plague numbers being what they are, we'll see. That's supposed to be a fundraiser. It will be really fun to sink so much money into an in-person event and then have like the Omega variant. You have to laugh because what are we doing? What is happening? But yeah, so that's what I do over there. I wish it was more related to writing. I would like to do more writing. I'm supposed to be doing more writing now, but I'm tired.
Well, I think it's really cool that you guys do like the tuition and scholarships as part of your retreat. Like that is really unusual that, you know, in at least to my knowledge, like that you will, you know, pay for that, or that you have like I don't know what you guys call it. Like you have the writing in residence, excuse me. You know, that's a lot of nifty stuff that, like, you know, if I was to host a writer's retreat, I'm not paying you to come.
Well, because Lambda, it's a mission-based organization,
right.
And so we have to remain accessible to the community that we represent, and so a lot of us are broke by virtues of being writers, but also, you know, multiple other marginalizations. We've all got able to provide scholarships. We're doing a virtual cohort as well this year. That'll be our first year, kind of doing a hybrid situation. You know, I love my hybrids, so. We'll see how that works out, but kind of making Lambda more accessible to people who are not just living in New York is kind of a big deal for right now.
There's a lot of ivory tower stuff that isn't accessible because you don't have generational wealth. And the fact is you guys are busting those doors down, which, you know, again, goes back to what you were saying earlier, like you find a space where people have needs and then you fill them.
I gotta cut it out. I gotta stop. Get out of hand.
That was a minor scandal, I'd say a month and a half ago as well on the internet, where people started taking down Clarion, which is super high profile, awesome retreat for any science fiction writer who gets to go to it, who can afford to leave their life and their work for 6 weeks or so, who can afford to pay the tuition and fly to, I think it's in the Pacific Northwest typically, and everyone's saying, who even gets to go to this thing? It's great that you get the opportunity and high profile sci-fi authors go and teach at it, but there's no accessibility. Like, it is in the publishing sphere, in the trying to get a leg up as a writer sphere, so difficult to push that forward.
Yeah, I'm not a workshop person, so I don't see the allure. I think that you can get by just fine without attending one. I don't think it should become, I don't know, a thing. If you can't attend. I mean, give me a year and I'll start another one.
Unless everyone gets one. If you get one in every major American city, okay, this is what we're doing.
Why not? Why can't it move around? Why can't it be in a different location with a thematic focus every time it runs for people who are writing sea stories? One day, I mean, one year you're on a cruise, somewhere, for people who need to be in the desert for desert reasons. Good luck, but there you go. There are a lot of different ways to service people who are in other areas of the community that are not in the Pacific Northwest, or that there are ways to structure it so that you can include people who have children that they can't leave, for 6 weeks, or day jobs or night jobs or whatever. There are ways to do things asynchronously and still be able to give that community and interactive, feeling to things. Please don't make me do it. Somebody else do it. There are ways to make that. I can rattle off like a dozen ways to just make that happen, and somebody else can just write them down and just go do them. But please, somebody else. Please.
It definitely feels like a decentralization of publishing is super important right now.
Yes.
With all of these problems that everybody is coming up against. The way that New York, and in a way San Francisco as well, has dominated this, and yet is so out of reach for so many different people.
There are a lot of publishing people in Atlanta. There are a lot of authors.
I am so in love with this.
There's a lot of video stuff in Georgia now too. Now being like the last 10 years, just talking about getting a channel together.
I mean, William Street, the Cartoon Network people, they're right there. And I was going to sell them something one day. I dreamed of it, but the way Warner Brothers is, we're not.
But it's
wait till that.
Just knock on the door and be like, I got stuff.
I do got stuff. Just, I don't know. I'll probably do something. I'll partner with an artist or an animator or something, and I'll put something on YouTube one day and be like, hey, so here's this thing. If you want to see more, fund my Kickstarter. I'm so tired of needing to crowdfund for everything. Like, I just give me the content.
Comic books seem to have been very good about, breaking that up, bringing new people in and rewriting their stories again and again. Marvel right there in Atlanta filming a lot of things as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Atlanta is the Hollywood of the East Coast. Like, a lot of stuff gets shot here. I haven't seen anybody do it, but everything, like at the end of the end credits on everything has like a Made in Georgia thing. I'm like, but where? Made somewhere down here. But yeah, there's I want publishing to, if you're not going to pay people to live in New York, let them live other places and create, satellite offices in other cities. If we're committed to the office thing. There's just, again, so many ways to just make this not suck. Just do it. Don't make me do it. Just do it.
But you're so good at organizing. I
don't want to do it anymore.
This is
I
definitely.
That you don't like workshops, but it sounds like you need to make a workshop to teach people what you do.
That would be like 3 different workshops. I don't know that there's a whole lot of.
Okay, course. Like year-long course.
It would be like the art of giving a shit. How to do it. Is what it is. Because if you pay attention to the conversations as they're happening, like, okay, this is a real, true, and dire need. And, you can be like, oh, well, that was interesting to read, and then fuck off and do something else. Or you can be like, oh, well, actually, here's how we fix that. I need more people to do that part and do less of the fucking off part. I need them to do the thing that fixes the stuff. And so I don't know if it is a dearth of willpower. I get that we are all super tired, but back when we all had more energy, no one was doing anything then either. So a lack of imagination, maybe lack of enthusiasm. I don't know, but I need somebody to figure it out.
And a bunch of other people, like all over the place. I feel like
so many people.
This, if there is a potential decentralization, that helps with a lot of other things because you get the other influences. If all of a sudden Baltimore has, a publishing group of cohorts of, agents, you'll get very different authors coming out of those. Right. If it's coming out of New Mexico, okay, you get very different authors coming out of there. And,
and they can afford to live where they live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, New York rates, you probably couldn't afford to live in Baltimore either. No, $25K for a year.
I don't think you couldn't afford to live down here either. I'm in a 2-bedroom townhouse and it's like $2,100 right now.
That's fast. Wow.
Yeah.
Because everybody was, Atlanta is nice and cheap, absolutely, but the prices have gone up everywhere.
My rent has gone up $600 in the last 3 years. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, we'll all be living in Bangladesh. And
like, how's things looking? Where's the next?
I think you could get property on that trash island in the ocean for pretty cheap.
Well, I keep seeing videos where they're taking stuff. So I've never actually seen the island. Like, that's like my whole conspiracy thing. I'm like, where is this floating island, this massive island in the ocean? But I just see them like, we took 2 tons of trash off of Garbage Island. Like, show me Garbage Island. I want to see it. Show me the island. I don't know where you're taking this trash. You may have just put the trash in there and just reeled it back up. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you'd take your tugboat out and just came back 3 weeks later.
Right. Like, I don't know what you're doing. But also, like, climate change is real. Like, stop polluting the oceans, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. All of that is true. But also, I want to see the island.
You need to know the beast you're fighting, right?
Yeah, it would be, I don't know. If it's as big as they say it is, I just want it to show up on a satellite photo. I want to see it. I want David Attenborough to go out to this island and do a whole thing about like how it's killing whales.
They say there are brand new ecosystems that are developing out there, that there are plants and animals who are,
I want to see it. James Cameron could be out doing that shit. Instead he's
making Avatar 7 already. I'm joking, but I think he did parts of 4 and 5 so that the kids wouldn't grow up too fast.
That was so technologically impressive back in 2006 or whenever it came out. We moved forward in that time with the cinematic arts. And so I don't know. I just, he has so much money and he could be like mapping the ocean or, discover a fish and name it after yourself. Do something impactful that's not making movies that cost too much to produce and don't have a viable story.
Like, I found Trash Island for you. I think you can see my screen. Like, just this guy staring out of a boat.
See, that doesn't look as big as it's supposed to be.
That's just the one off the Caribbean. I think there's supposed to be more than one.
Okay.
Yeah, the Pacific Gyre. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody was like, okay, well, I will. LD was kind enough to come hang out with us for an hour. I will find her a trash island. It's the least I can do.
Yeah, I'm like, are there trees growing on it? Like, what kind of cool evolutionary stuff's going on the plastic garbage pile? Somebody show me. I want to write a story about it. But
Speaking of which, because we are looking towards the end of the hour, I want to know, I know you said other people need to do the work, but what are you planning to do in 2023?
Oh my God, lie on the floor for like not answer my things that are. So I'm doing a lot of traveling in the first half of the year. AWP in Seattle in March, hopefully moving in April. I'm at a conference in Indianapolis in May. Lammy Awards in New York in June, and then Worldcon's in China, so I'm not going to that. But at that point, I won't want to talk to anyone. So the latter half of the year, lying on the floor. First half of the
You got to
year,
plan that. You got to plan it out. 6 months out.
You're getting invited to these things, right? Like they are footing the bill and getting you there, right?
Well, AWP is a work trip. So moving, that's all me. MoCon in Indianapolis. I believe I'm being flown out for that. I don't know. I can check my emails more often. June.
That's the one you need to answer, yeah.
I know. And then June, the Lammys, another work trip. So, but yeah, let me see. That's it. So like the first half of the year, it's going to be me spending like a couple of weeks at a time, like psyching myself up to get on a plane. I hate traveling. I hate it so much. I don't, it's the rigmarole. Like if I could like teleport and just be where I need to be, that's fine. But I hate the planning and the packing and who's taking care of the cats and then the trip to the airport and then getting through the airport and then being on the plane next to some weirdo and then getting off the plane and then getting your shit and then getting to a cab and then getting to the hotel and then figuring out what the hell it is you're doing for the next week. It's a lot. So I would rather just be at home. I should be tired of home. I should be tired. I should not want to be here because I've been a good little pandemic settler and have not gone anywhere. And I still mask up and I'm all vaccinated and stuff. And I should not want to be in this house, but I would rather be here than doing all that.
That's because, and I'm hope not too forward, you are an introvert extrovert. You seem extroverted, but you are not.
I'm not. Oh God. No, I hate it. I hate talking to people. They make fun of me. So whenever it was only my second Worldcon, but we went up there to Chicago and then like the year we won the Hugo was in DC. So in Chicago, like I would just like disappear at 9 o'clock and just go up to my room, and then people started calling me an old lady because like I would just like leave. I would leave the group spaces and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to bed. It's 9. I don't need to be out here. We've spoken enough today. I'm tired of faces. So that's kind of a thing now. I will absolutely like disappear on you in a public setting because I need to just like be not around people for a while. So this will be fun next year. We'll see how, like, my social batteries were like drained.
It's either you get engaged and that is recharging your batteries, or the other way around. And I feel the same way too. You're with others, okay, and then done.
Yep. I'm like, okay, this is great. This is fine. I'm getting FaceTime. I enjoy these people. And then like when you go, like it's that moment you depart, you're like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Like you're fine engaged in the morning. You're like, okay, I know I have to be an active listener. I have to pay attention to this person. But also like, please get me out of here.
But the Irish goodbye is the way to go. Well, our writing group, Tomeworks actually, and maybe just a couple of people are actually talking about heading towards your direction, multiverse in the fall. Looks like a very cool sci-fi conference.
I got invited to that this year, and I didn't go.
Okay, well, yeah.
Because it was Worldcon, and then I came back and I onboarded for the Lammys. There's a panel of 3 judges per category. We have 25 categories, so I was in onboarding meetings with 75 judges for the next few weeks, and so I could not multiverse con. I was tired.
But I would love to learn more about the Atlanta science fiction, fantasy community and stuff like that. So
we have Multiverse Con, we have Dragon Con. I think there's an anime con thing here too. Cater Book Fest, which is usually outdoor annually. This year I think they cut it back just for pandemic reasons, but that's always like really big and like really, really nice to like for on the writing, the publishing side of things. That's always fun. But
the publishing that we are also disheartened about.
I just want everybody to be better. I want them to care more, and I want them to just want to do good things, and capitalism just ruins.
Well, you are absolutely doing the good work of all sorts of stuff, and we hope Twitter survives and that everybody can follow LD Lewis on there. We'll see. And just thank you for talking to us, because I absolutely admired all the things that you've done for the past few years and your voice that you put into it. And now I know you are working extra hard because you don't want to talk to anybody.
Like, I'm really sorry you had to know me for this hour.
Yes.
Like, I don't mind like conversations. Like, I'm very bad with like filtering things through the language of like, I don't know, professionalism. But like, I don't mind like conversations. It's the need to perform that I don't do very well with. And so, yeah, when I'm in like a convention space where like, my peers who respect me but have no idea, that's the exhausting bit. But yeah, I will. I'm going to be talking to a lot of people for the first 6 months of next year, screaming into a pillow in between times, and then the latter half, hopefully more writing. I have a couple of short stories collections to fire off, something that maybe my agent will sell. Who knows? Because whatever.
You do what you can. Oh, absolutely. No.
If not, I will publish it. It's one of those things where like my stories are an inevitability. They will get out there one way or the other. Who wants to be, part of that ride is really the only variable. But we'll see. I'm working on a fun little secret project that's like a deep dive into a bunch of my little writing universes. That'll be like a subscriber thing, since now we actually have to do newsletters. Because social media is dying. So I'll try to be charming and informative that way. I am at L the Villain, E-L-E the Villain on Twitter, on Instagram, which I don't use, but have inexplicably collected like 300 followers. And I only watch cat videos and Amari Gouchon's chocolate videos. So you can follow me there. And maybe one day I'll learn how to use the platform and post something on it. I am also, where else am I? I am Mastodon.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, I'm on there. I haven't been on there since I signed up, but I'm on the Wandering Shop there. Same name. I think I'm on Hive. I'll live in there too. I'm on Tumblr somewhere as something else. I gotta figure that out.
This is Tower of Babel stuff. Like we're all just sent out. It is like we don't know where we're going or who is.
What were the last few sentences I even said? Like what? I'm in the Wandering Shop on the Mastodon, and I'm someone on a Tumblr, and also in a Hive. I don't.
This is science fiction fodder, though. This is great. This is absolutely where we're headed.
Oh, God. What else? I don't think I have anything to promote. Last Stand of the 12th Street Pirates, my only short that I published this year, is out at Lightspeed. And apparently gets like cross-posted to like Gizmodo and stuff, which is fun because I didn't know that they did that. But that's a nice little harrowing story if you're up for some climate change anxiety while you hunker down in your snow bunkers.
I just read it last night. No, absolutely. And you took a few good shots at Jeff Bezos along the way.
Yeah, fuck him royally. Yeah, and all of my love to delivery personnel, letter carriers, mail people. Y'all are awesome. I think that's it. We'll see if I sell anything in the new year.
Best of luck.
It's like you have no choice, honestly.
I have not had a 0 publication year since I started publishing. So as long as I get one thing out, I will count it as a win. I was hoping for more this year because I wasn't doing like FIYAHCON, and I'm stepping down from FIYAH at the end of next year. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm clearing out time to do more writing, but a lot of that time is just spent on the floor thinking about my life and why am I in publishing at all. So yeah, we'll see.
To get the drive. That's what.
It's all good. No, keep doing what you're doing. It is great. No, absolutely appreciate it. And thank you, LD Lewis, so much for talking to us here at Writers Lunch. And we'll try to build up our Houston community. Absolutely. With lessons that we learned from you and things that you have done.
Yay! I'm happy to hear it. And always, reach out if you need anything. I am super accessible, although not immediately by email.
I'll respond to your newsletter. There we go.
Yay! Now pressure to write them.
All right, I need to shut up because I'm pressuring you too much.
Oh, we're right at the end, and I do believe that everybody has to get back to work. I know that they're calling me from the shop at the same time, absolutely. But thank you so much, LD. Have a great day, guys.
You too.
Okay. Bye, guys.
All right, I can.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, no, I was.
Okay.
We'll edit it out. Oh, my turning off the record.